Hello everyone, it's Miss Darling in the studio, and I'm in the midst, as you can see, of working on some stuff, and I thought I would bring you along for what I'm doing. I'm working on making a bunch of very large envelopes. I got real excited about this, and I made a few of them for a journal, which I will show you in a few days or so. And so I had so much fun making them, I thought I would go on and make more for other journals that I'm working on. These large size pockets have various uses, not only as a typical pocket that you would glue down to a page, but you could, fasten it to the side of a page and use it as a flip out. And so I just thought I'd quickly show you some stuff that I am working on right now, and then continue on and you can see the progress. So here's one, and I glued a corner pocket that has 3 or 4 other pockets combined in it. So one could literally stick some ephemera in that pocket, and then there's another pocket, and then there's another pocket. So I think there's 4 there all together when you glue them down, counting the one between the item itself and the background. So I could do that, but while it's empty, here's what it looks like, and it says Passport Journal. And I had this cut out that I put in with my 2.5-inch hole punch, and then I put this lady in the background and encircled her with the black enamel paint, and I put this little indentation here so you would know instantly it was a pocket. And so here's a large pocket, and if I glued this down to a page and I only glued it around the perimeter, leaving this open, there would be a second pocket there, and then the actual pocket. But I have the option of not gluing it down, but maybe turning it into a flip of some kind, or just something I would paper clip to a page. And so I've decorated the back, and here's what that looks like. And I have another one of the multi-pocket corners there, and so I could stick even more ephemera in the various pockets so it will hold. Oop, I guess I haven't glued this. Oh, now you know what? I actually have to glue the corner pocket that I made to glue on or fasten on, bolt on to the big pocket. So I'm glad I discovered that I need to glue all those down across there if I intend to have them hold anything. So I'll have to glue it here too, I'm sure. Anyway, I have these brads. There's a brad here and a brad there to hold the corner together, and then this is like a faux brad. It's made out of the enamel paint. And so that's what the flip side looks like on that one. And then here's a one that isn't quite finished yet. I'm going to put that number right in there, and you can see that it's a pocket. And then on the reverse side, that's been decorated as well, and there's ephemera sticking in there that faces this side. So you can stick some facing the back and some facing the front, which I've done, and yeah, and use it as either a glue down or a flip, or just a paper clip. So I'm going to go ahead, since I know I have this issue, I'm going to just go ahead and get this number glued down here while I'm thinking of it. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well, and hope you'll craft right along with me as we get into this video further. Okay. Yeah, so that's how that one's turning out, and that's how I decorated the back. And then we have this one, same idea, a pocket, and that's the front, and this is the back. And you know, it's just all collage, and what I'm doing is I'm working my substrate. My background is from a large book of birds, and so while I'm on that subject, here is a pocket I made from a bottom half of the page from that bird book, and so you can see there's, you know, birds here, and then it continued on to the flip side. So I've decorated both sides, and this would not be a pocket that I would glue down in a journal. I would either paper clip it to a page or turn it into a flip out. And since my design is going this way, I would flip it out that way. You could do it this way too, but I think it kind of works nicely to make it flip in the direction the design is headed. So this was the left side of the page, and this was the right side of the page. And yeah, so it's just really fun to take the pages and work with them with the images or just with the text. And here's another one that I have made, and again I cut out this big circle with my punch, and then I glued other paper behind it that creates this collage of papers, and I thought that was fun. I like working with some funky stuff now and then, and you can see, you know, it is a pocket, and I flip it over, and I have this lovely vintage lady and some high heels here, just having fun using up scraps. And so I have some ephemera that, you know, when you pull it out, it's facing this side, and then this ephemera here is facing this side. And so that's how those will all come to work. So now let's go ahead and make one. And I have a sheet here from the book, and I could use him since he's on this side. I could use that as my substrate and then have this bird on the front side of a pocket, and then I have enough paper left over to make two pockets, and so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to let me move you guys out of the way. So if we come up, bring the top of the pocket up here to the edge of the paper, it comes down here. That gives me still plenty of room to get two pockets out of each sheet. So all I do is take a pen or pencil and I mark the bottom here, and then I mark it over here, so I know where to cut the sheet in half. I'm going to use the text as my guide to getting a straight cut, because when it's all said and done, I want each pocket to line up with the text in case it shows. So now I've got this, and so what I usually do, okay, here's the other side, and I think I'm going to have that on the inside and just have the straight text on the outside. So I'm going to first fold it in half. And I've got about a little more than 1/8 of an inch or so of border here between the text. And so I want to cut, I'm going to trim it off, leaving about the same amount of border on the other side so that my text is nice and centered on the pocket. I'm just eyeballing this. Well, I got a little bit thinner border there than I wanted, but you know, that's okay. I'm just going to live with it. So that's one, and then we will work on this. Now, I like the proportions of the pockets that I've been working with. So I'm going to keep roughly the same proportion and trim off a good deal of this bottom here. I'm lining my edge here up with the grid on my table, and that way I can get a nice good straight line when I cut. Okay, and so now I have roughly the same height of the others, and so we'll fold this in half and see what we have. We just got our bird on there without losing any of his beak. So now I'm going to trim off the other side. Now if I trim it off here, kind of roughly right there, I'll lose part of his tail. I'm okay with losing his tail. I would not be okay if that was his head. I don't like to cut off the heads of animals, insects, or humans. And so we'll come in about there. Okay, so he's already the focal point of this particular pocket, and on the back we just have text, so we can do anything we want. And this one is strictly text. And when I have something that's strictly text, that's when I'll most often come in and cut a nice big circle with my punch. And so I could come down from the top, I can go left, I can go right, I can come in from the side, and I can be at the top, or I can, you know, come anywhere and go down, or I can even, you know, come up from the bottom. I've kind of done it all different ways to change things up. And so in this case, I think I like kind of coming in here. We'll get it down far enough so that the circle itself is all text. As I will use these circles later on to make junk journal coins, and you can see I have quite a few of them on the go. That one I cut out of a design itself, and you see I could take and you know, glue that, attach that there. It's a little hard to work with that because it's not bigger than the hole, so I tend not to do that. Although I could take something like this and glue it on the back and reuse it that, you know, that way. It's got text on the other side, but I'll deal with those down the road, not in this particular video. And so we'll clean up here a little bit. And since we got our hole started here, let's kind of maybe run with this one first. And just like this one, I, you know, figure out what I'm going to put behind the hole that will show through. And I want something that's going to give me good contrast with the text on the front. And I'm wondering kind of what that might do. Or getting in there and dealing strictly with the handwriting, you know, the bigger handwriting I think I like, but I can't position it well unless I cut this section off. So I'm going to do that. Have to make sure that what I leave enough there to cover the entire hole. And so we're going to kind of just position that about right there. Yeah, I like that. It's nice and neutral, so I can then go on and do, you know, whatever I want to do. I can stay neutral, or I can add other colors for impact and, you know, more interest. Or I can keep it very neutral. Okay. Now I want to come in on the other side, make sure I don't have glue here that's going to attach that to this. I will attach that at some point, but only in the way that makes it an actual pocket. Okay, that was quick and easy. Alright, now what I often do with the circles is later, if I feel it needs it, I will set it off with these enamel dots that I like using. Here's another one. So I may wind up doing that, particularly since this is so neutral and there's not a huge amount of contrast between the front and the back. I may wind up doing that, but we'll see as we go. And so now I've got this bare spot across the top, which I want to cover over. And let's see. Obviously, I want to work with something that's on the cooler side, because this is cool and not warm. I think I need something wider than this. This may have too much yellow in it. Let's see. This is washi tape. That's going to go quite yellow on me. I don't think I have this. Yeah, I think that'll do it. That's not going to go yellow on me. So we're just going to take care of this area. I have no idea at this point what I'm going to do next, which makes it kind of fun and exciting, but also kind of risky when you don't have a plan in advance. Alright, that pretty much sets the stage for where we're going to go with this particular pocket. Do I want to add more washi tape? Not on that side, but we're going to need washi tape on this side, so we'll just go ahead and take care of that. I kind of like to coordinate the front with the back somewhat, but not, I don't want to duplicate it. I think I like that one better than I do this one on the front, but oh well. Right, I'm a little bothered by this empty spot right up here in that paper, so I'll be gluing something there. Maybe a butterfly might work. See what we've got here. I have a little bit of a rose color here and a little bit of teal there. There is only neutrals on the back. But so I want, there's a little teal butterfly there, and so I think will stay with that sort of color that's there. We could do something like that. It's too big. So what else have we got here? All my big ones over on this side. Here's sort of a greenish. And it's a little big for being at the top. You know, I mean, down here would be more suitable for it, but I want to do something there that's going to cover that bald spot. Teal is not a color that you find in butterflies very often. But I don't have to do teal. Just something that's going to give me a nice contrast and a decent focal point. And I like that. No, that doesn't have the drama I'm looking for. So I think I'm going to go with this one. And then we'll figure out what to do down here. So we're going to do a little bit of fussy cutting here. Excuse me. Okay, well, that was a surprise. I had no idea I would wind up doing this, but I like it. I've got this teal greenish just faintly up there, and we're bringing it in again down here. And then this rust brown colorization is, down here. And so the only thing I'm not crazy about is I wound up with this washi tape covering over the bottom writing here. I'm going to try and take that off. I'm just trimming this off. Trying to keep quiet when I do certain sections so that I can speed up a repetitive section if need be. And so that's why I go silent. Alright, so I may come around with some black enamel puff paint there to highlight the circle. And now I have some of this left over, which maybe I'll use on the back in some way to tie the two together. And so I'm going to set it over here for right now till I have a look at other options. And okay, we're pretty full on this side. So I might like to do some kind of a collage on the back here. And that's some of this. There's a bit of bottom of ledger paper that has some green in it. I want to carry a little of that onto the back from the front. Here's some butterflies with a teal background. It could maybe work. Unless I want to stay completely neutral back here. Which I kind of like the I think this sort of lends itself to being strictly neutral back here. I could maybe cut her out and not use the whole thing, but just use the lady. I think we're going to rip the tops and the bottom. I want that torn look everywhere. Yeah, whether I do anything else other than that, I always like having a focal point, but I do like this. I'm just going to commit to it and go ahead and put it down. Let's see. I think in order to hopefully get it reasonably there where I like it, I'm going to try and glue it from the top down. There have been many times that I have arranged something on the front of what I'm working on, and I take the pieces off and put some glue on the back, and then I don't put them back where I had intended for them to go. And then I wonder why. I guess it's my senioritis at work. And so to prevent that from happening anymore, I'm trying to glue in place. You know, just get some glue on it as I have it down there, and you know, not move everything off. And because even if I took a photo of how I had it arranged, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get it back the same way I intended. So this kind of glue in place technique prevents that from happening, because you glue what you can, starting from the top down, and you never pick it up off the page. And then you come back after you've got part of it glued down and finish adhering any loose parts that you still have. Now, I held this to the last because I don't know if I'll even want to use it. And it is washi tape, so it is sticky on the bottom, and I don't want to make any mistakes. But we'll try to figure out if we want to use her or not. I think I'm liking that. Do I want her up there or down here? Not as much contrast there. We could go down here, but I think she's going to work the best up here. Sorry to lose that design. I like it, but because this is going down on top of lace, it's going to be a little bubbly on this side. And we'll try to smooth that out as best we can. Hopefully that'll stick. It might not. So I am taking a chance, but I've got an opening here, so we'll throw some glue in there. I think it's because the lace is not adhered to the bottom surface. And I think that took care of that. I don't like the bubbling up there. There might be something to kind of cover that up. Okay. I'll go with that. I did not use my fabric glue up here, so I'm having a little trouble with that staying glued. I'll try again. Okay, so this is a torn section from that piece there. And I think I can use that now to cover over where it's bubbling. Now I can do it this way, or I can do it this way where I have a straight line cutting through the image. Do I like that? Or do I prefer this? Okay, I like that. That vertical line going down there. It's not real strong, but you can see it, and I think that helps my overall design. And it took care of that problem there. I'm a little off vertical here, so maybe we'll do a little of that on the other side as well to make that less noticeable. I know there are a lot of people who don't mind putting something down crooked, but it just bothers me. I prefer not to do that. All right. Well, I took care of those two areas. It's a nice focal point. I don't know if you can see it that well on the video, but I do like it in person. And yeah, so it's quite different from what's on the front, and I'm okay with that. I do like variety. Our colors, our color palette is pretty similar from one side to the other. Now, if you don't go ahead and glue it into a pocket, but you just left it like this, you would have the option then of, instead of using it as a pocket, use it as, you know, cover this over, but use it as a fold out. Or you could even cut them apart and use them separately, however you want to. I'm going to go ahead and glue this into a pocket because that's the whole point of what I'm doing. But of course I could, at any point, trim off the glued side. That would be down here and down here. You can always trim off your glued side and change it up from a pocket to something you can cut apart and use, whatever you want. I forgot to cut a dip here. It's not a big issue, but it, you know, once you glue it, maybe I could pop it back open real quick so I can do that. Well, that glued itself down rather quickly, didn't it? Okay. The reason I had to open it all the way up is to, get it. I'm going to put my dip down to left of my focal point. And that's for a design reason. Okay, so this is what we'll have, and now we'll glue it back up again. That's the first time I've dotted over an image, but I felt like I had to just continue on with the dots, even though normally I would only go up to the image and stop. Anyway, it's done now. Not quite as evenly spaced as I would like, but maybe I can close the gap a little bit. Now you want to be sure and set your, when you use these, to set it off somewhere in a safe place until the enamel fully dries. And do it as soon as you can, because the longer you have it sitting on your work area, the greater the chances that you'll accidentally touch one or more of your little well-placed dots and ruin the whole thing. So I'm going to set this off to dry now before I do anything else. Well, I do think I will add some corners. I like the appearance of the whole thing being united. I could add more at a later time if I choose, but right now I just want everything to dry so it doesn't get ruined. And there you have it. That's one side, probably the front side, and this is the reverse side. And after the front dries, I may come back and add some of the enamel onto this side as well, so that they're a little more harmonious. But I've got to wait for this to dry. So I'll close it off here. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And if you like this content, please let me know in the comments, and so I can do more. And I appreciate the support. And so that said, this is Miss Darling calling this a wrap. Bye-bye.